everyone on the floor and also online. Our next session will introduce a special effort at Yonsei with enthusiastic students who are working on to address various SDGs. Specifically, Yonsei University's Institute for Higher Education Innovation is dedicated to support students with opportunities to initiate student-led group projects, Workstations. Workstations foster social innovation and impact on real-world issues. We will have a chance to hear their voices in this session. We have two moderators for this session. Tae-ho Kim is the co-founder of Wharton Technologies as well as an undergrad student of the Yonsei Underwood International College. And Jun Kim is an officer at the Institute for Higher Education Innovation. I just heard that Tae-ho Kim's team received a very renowned prize, and big applause for him. And please welcome Tae-ho and Jun to introduce the panels and moderate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for visiting this session, implementing the agenda of SDGs in higher education, Workstation in Yonsei University. We would like to send warm-hearted welcome to everyone who has visited this session. Hello, this is Tae-ho. I am the co-founder and the chief of staff of Written Technologies, a generative AI startup based on Seoul. Our company started from student-led group project in Yonsei University, which are called Workstation, the program which we are going to introduce through this session today. We would be humbly grateful that the experience that we are sharing today, the experience with education for the social innovation and social impact, could give any kind of inspiration for your new project and new thoughts.
Hi, this is Jun Kim from Yonsei University. IHE stands for Institute of Higher Education Innovation, which is the institute responsible for the preparation of this session today. And I'm very honored to be here as a co-moderator of this session, and also very glad to introduce IHE's efforts and trials for social innovation, starting from higher education sector. Today, we will be sharing the cases of student-led group projects for social innovation and SDGs. Annually, from 150 to 200 student-led projects which we call Workstation, are supported by IHE with scholarships and full-round support, including professional consultation in various fields and networking events and on and offline platforms. So today we are here with three passionately active Workstation teams, Softment, Fifth Sense, and Move It. So would you give a short introduction of yourselves, starting with Ms. Lee from Team Softment?
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 주식회사 소우먼츠의 이윤지라고 하고요. 오늘 이 자리에서 함께하게 되어서 굉장히 기쁩니다. 저는 현재 소우먼츠에서 CEO와 포지션을 맡고 있습니다.
Chief Creative Director of Sovment.
It's nice to be here. I'm Junwoo Kim from Team Fifth Sense. I'm responsible for design and production process of our tactile kit, which our team is trying to develop.
Yes, good afternoon to all. I'm honored to be here. I'm Jaeyoung Kim, and I'm responsible for public relations for Team Move It's project and also worked as on-site plan manager.
So all three, really thank you for participating in this session. Mr. Tae-ho Kim, I think as a senior student to all other panelists and who has experienced the Workstation program and the support system earlier, a few years ahead, I think it would be really nice if you could share your own experience with the Workstation program.
Yes, so at first, my co-founder and I hope that all teenagers would given a chance to indulge in research based on their interest and curiosity. So we decided to run an educational volunteer organization called KCY, which is abbreviation of Korea Scholars Conference for the Youth. With support of IHE, we continued the project about 8 years, and we would like to think KCY has a successful educational event for students, offering the chance of experiment, research, and exchange. Through the event, we could meet the 13 different country students who have conducted research in the field of their own interest. We are truly grateful for their enthusiasm and participation since they are the core element of KSUI itself. And our team's journey starts from there. Based on experience, which challenged us to solve problem of educational equity, and to come up with our own solution and experiment, we've got to discover a new problem and took up another challenges. I will be introducing the second project in this session later on, the project which was the next step we've taken after the KCY, which actually led to be an actual startup called Written Technologies.
Yes, I'm quite looking forward to find out more about written technologies today. I think it's really amazing how student-led group project has developed into an internationally acknowledged company. And also, I think it's also really amazing how students define the social problems by their own creative ways and come up with the project proposals and take experiments and go on to the next steps. So it's always very inspiring and motivating to even just watch and to support your projects and to interact with you all and as a team member of IHE. So before we actually begin with the introduction of your projects in detail, I would like to give a brief introduction of our institution and the programs for the audience. So Institute for Higher Education Innovation is dedicated to support innovative paradigm for higher education based on the value of convergence and connection. IHE's vision is to foster future talent for social innovation, which is an essential role for a higher educational institute. Since 2018, IHE has been suggesting the highest level of commitment on campus for fostering future talent and developing a driving force for social innovation in the higher education sector. We intend to build and support educational programs based on the goals of social innovation and SDGs. Programs are highly engaged with integration of academic disciplines, sustainability, leadership, and empathy. IHE runs a great range of programs, and today I will briefly introduce one representative programs each from curricular part and extracurricular part. For curricular programs, IHE supports SIC courses, which is on the top, the Social Innovation Competency courses, which are the courses dedicated to the studies for social innovation, theories, and real-life execution. IHE also supports the existing courses related to social innovations in all fields through each semester's selection process. And class performances of SIC courses is measured every semester through the Survey for Social Innovation Awareness. For extracurricular support, the major program is called Workstation, which is a supporting system for student-led group projects for SDGs and social innovation, which we are mainly introducing at this session today. So among the slide graphics, you can find the 4 main categories of Workstation, which are public value learning, global social entrepreneurship, social innovation network, and social venture startup. So IHE aims to maximize students' achievement through all-round support, such as requesting cooperation with local government, NGOs, civic groups, and establishing partnerships with advisory institutions such as law firms and tax firms for professional consults. And also providing activity spaces, online platforms, which is called Social Innovation Town, and holding forums and events, running accelerating and incubating programs, and collaborating internship programs with external organizations and so on. All Workstation projects are required to be designed based on SDGs. So this is the chart for Workstations of 2022, how they are distributed based on SDGs. IHE supported 234 projects in 2022. So we select the projects based on clarity and timeliness of defining the social problems, visibility of solutions, and the originality. The projects were supported by scholarships as project support costs, networking sessions, and also special lectures by experts in relevant fields with the projects. And also the consultations from the student advisory group consisting of senior teams with outstanding project results. IHE aims to maximize the student experience and growth with the programs and vitalize the community for social innovation and project-based learning, community-based learning. And we hope it could contribute to the achievements of SDGs and nurturing future leaders with the understanding of the importance of social innovation and the will to achieve SDGs with their capabilities in various parts of society. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. I think it is completely true that higher education actually plays a fundamental and essential part of social innovation and achievement of SDGs. Since it's all about people come up with ideas, the solution, and the posing problems and evaluating social impact of various trials and attempts. And those people, we definitely need basic infrastructure for their educational experience, not just their academic exploration, but also for real-time execution and learning from the experience.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. In a way, I think you can say universities are also at the forefront of the fight for SDGs. And they're functioning as a proactive actors, like by conducting relevant researches and experimenting new curricula for the students who are interested in those kind of projects. And so we keep searching for better ways to support necessary resources to the students for their ambitious projects and visions aiming for SDGs, and how to provide efficient platforms for co-work and networking with each other.
I'm looking forward to see IHE's next step for Yonsei University students. Okay, I think we are now ready to move on to project introduction. 3 teams today. So first, Team Solomon, would you please introduce your project for us?
네, 소우먼트는 담배꽁초 문제를 혁신하기 위해
Solvent creates a comprehensive solution, innovative solution system for a cigarette butt problem. Cigarette butts is a huge problem that everyone sympathizes with and everyone is comfortable with. In Korea, they say that 12.46 million butts are dumped on the road, and worldwide, 4 trillion butts are dumped on the road. These cigarette butts destroy the environment, make for non-safety, and also lack for communication. But why do these issues happen? Over the past year, we have interviewed over 100 stakeholders and tested the situation to try to understand that we need to create a holistic solution, because 80% of smokers say that they don't know where they can smoke, where they're allowed to smoke, and there's this information discrepancy, and this leads to complaints. And these complaints, the local governments are not digitized, so they don't know how to field these complaints. So, Solvent has come up with 3 solutions to try to provide a fix to this situation. So first of all is 여기담, which is a smoking area location web platform. This allows for smokers to see where they're allowed to smoke. It's a hyperlocal web platform that we want to develop into a hyperlocal community where smokers can share their information with one another, allow for better communication to create sound smoking culture. Second is public art motif, local cigarette butt bin. Many smokers often say that on the street, the cigarette butt trash disposal places are not necessarily very conspicuous, and so we have decided to come up with some local design bins based on local public art. They are very easily remembered, and so this the red kind of public art motif local cigarette butts bin was first rolled out in Sinchon area. We designed it as produced, and we are currently operating it in Sinchon. The third is fire extinguishing aid R&D, specializing in cigarette butts. There are about 100 billions worth of property damage related to cigarette butts in Korea every year. So we have filed for a patent on fire extinguishing aid R&D. This is something that we have adopted to the local cigarette butts bin as well. This means that Selfment is working to create a safer world, a society where we can all live together in. Yogidam is something that is offered at a stage right now, and you can scan it and get access to the platform and see about 200 different smoking locations across the city. While working on the beta version, we were able to see that many smokers, particularly those in their 20s and 30s, really appreciated this platform, and over 100 smokers or so have actually gone to the smoking areas to dispose of their cigarette butts, and many of them have said that they've been waiting for this kind of service for a long time. This is important for the future smokers, so young smokers who can engage in a sound smoking culture while also protecting the environment. From 2021, we have participated in the igee program. We have 3 intellectual properties, so patents, and we have worked to decrease use of cigarette butts, and last year we've also become incorporated. We have named ourselves Selfment, bringing society and movement together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lee, for the wonderful introduction to the project of Selfment. For next, Ms. Jaeyoung Kim, would you please introduce Team Move It project?
Okay, hello, we are Team Move It, a team composed of 4 members conducting research under the title Edible Insects Awareness Promotion Project for Food Security Improvement in Madagascar, with a focus on the Madagascar endemic edible species, secondary. So Madagascar has the 4th highest rate of chronic malnutrition in the world, and protein deficiency is currently the most serious cause of malnutrition for the country's low-income population. In response, our team planned a research project to propose low-cost and highly accessible edible insects within Madagascar as a sustainable protein source to replace meat. And through this project, we aim to improve the awareness of edible insects within Madagascar and to encourage sustainable harvest and consumption of edible insects among the locals. I will now introduce to you our team's project outputs. So through in-depth literature review and advice from relevant academic advisors of the field, our team succeeded in producing an informative leaflet and seed kit. Our team's first product is the informative leaflet. Consisting of 6 pages, the leaflet contains a brief introduction of our project, key characteristics, and a consumption calendar for 6 edible insect species found widely in Madagascar, and information on the social value of edible insects. As our project is especially focused on the edible insect species secondary and its host plant lima bean, the leaflet contains instructions on using the seed kit and recipes on how to consume the secondary. The leaflet helps contribute to the knowledge bank on Madagascar and edible insects by collecting and organizing the sporadic information. The second product is the seed kit. So each seed kit contains lima beans to plant and a summary of the steps in raising the lima beans. By distributing a seed kit containing the actual seeds and instructions on its growth, Madagascar's locals are able to directly cultivate the host plant and subsequently consume the attracted edible insects as sustainable and self-sufficient sources of protein. With our leaflet and seed kits, we visited Madagascar in December 2022 and distributed them in Morondava, a city in northwest Madagascar. We managed to reach 5 villages and are currently following up on the growth process of the distributed lima beans. The picture you see on the right is an actual photo of a lima bean plant that succeeded to germinate as of January 12th. In addition to distributing leaflets and seed kits, we visited 4 organizations to get accurate advice for our project's improvements. During our visit, we visited the Korean Embassy of Madagascar, Antananarivo University, Madagascar Biodiversity Center, and World Food Program Madagascar. And visiting these institutions with varying interests, our team could gain inclusive insights on the ongoing projects regarding Madagascar's food security and also receive valuable advice regarding our project's improvement for on-site effectiveness and acceptance. So with the information gathered from our on-site activities, our plans to contribute to the academic research on Madagascar's edible insect market and its consumer trends. While conducting literature research, our team found out that the academic research on the consumer perception of edible insects exists in several countries, but not yet fully for Madagascar. So to fill this academic gap and to contribute to becoming the cornerstone of the field's academic research, we are planning to draft a relevant paper. During our on-site activities, we conducted a survey in Antananarivo and Morondava related to the Malagasy experience and perception of edible insects. And we are planning, if possible, to conduct a second round after revising and revisiting the questions and improving them upon our on-site activities. By producing outputs based on literature review and visiting Madagascar in person, our team's project outputs as third-party research was able to induce interest on edible insects. Moreover, by directly interacting with the locals, our team could reflect realistic elements in our research and identify the project's potential on the field. And we hope to return with updated and hopefully academia contributing results. Thank you.
Edible insect, that was very impressive. I'm looking forward to Team Move's achievement in beautiful city Antananarivo. Thank you, Ms. Kim. Now, Mr. Juno Kim, would you please introduce Team Fifth Sense project for us?
Okay, sure. Hello, we are Team Fifth Sense. We are a brand that produces tactile educational kits that can solve learning difficulties of visually impaired children. Due to advances in medicine, children with disabilities have increased in Korea. However, education for visually impaired children is still underdeveloped in Korea. Without time or resources, educators jump forward to teaching Braille, a tactile writing system for visually impaired. We contacted multiple educators and welfare workers and found out there's a missing step before visually impaired children are taught Braille. First, they need to overcome their reluctance to touch new things. Second, they need to refine their senses to differentiate something detailed like Braille. Third, they need to experience the things Braille represents. Our team's first product is a miniature model of a thatched roof house. We used actual natural materials as tactile materials. We wanted children to differentiate the structure based on their texture and understand the scientific and cultural principles behind them. We wanted them to feel the shape of our thatched roof house and compare them to their own houses. In this way, they can connect their hands-on experience to their vocabularies. We were able to carry out activities with visually impaired children. They were hesitant to touch the model at first. During the activity with the play kit, they were able to learn about the materials and get used to the texture. After that, they were able to actively play with the model and describe and talk about them. The teacher of the students were also interested with the model too. She said it was different from existing kits that were mostly made of plastic, and she wanted to help us distribute them. Our kit can be used in basic special education curriculum, as well as new curriculum of Korea. We plan on B2B sales to blind education sites nationwide. We hope to make more connections with communities of visually impaired children. We plan to make a variety of products where children can connect their feelings and experiences to various vocabularies. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. I think it's such a beautiful project, and thank you very much for the introduction. I would now like to ask our moderator, Mr. Tae-ho Kim, for the introduction of his own project, as we mentioned earlier at the beginning of this session.
Sure. Recently, large-scale AI model has grown rapidly. As the name suggests, it is large-scale artificial intelligence model, which increased the number of parameters that call human brain neurons to 100 billion levels. And it writes elegant article with simple keywords and generate the desired image with a few clicks. Even it creates a video with just explanation. Sequoia Capital recently announced analysis that generative AI market is now the same as the early mobile application market. In addition, there are various fields to which generative AI can be applied, and hundreds of billion people will be engaged in it, predicting that generative AI could create trillions of dollars in economic value in the future. How will generative AI change in the future? We, Written Technologies, have prepared the rapidly growing large-scale AI market in advance and have created application service to become valuable tool for people. The first thing we focused on was the writing service that solves difficulty of writing with excellent language skills of large-scale language model. As you can see, with just a few words of simple contents, AI can help you create high-quality draft. Starting with this service, we have helped more than 50 writing moments, from email to marketing copies and customer responsive messages. Users who have used this platform are surprised by convenience, and in fact, less than 3 months after beta launch, 70,000 users have generated 1.7 billion words and used them for their business. Written is mainly used by small and medium-sized business owners, including self-employed business, content creators who need creative work, and startups that lack resources. At this moment, you might think that if AI write entire article, human writing skills are getting downgraded. However, what if the large-scale AI model become a writing teacher? As I mentioned earlier in this session, we are a team with experience and data over past decade that has run educational conferences that help young people express their creative thinking, a creative idea in writing. With this experience, we created a service that AI tutor can help writing and development thinking like a real teacher. This time, we made both Korean and English version with large-scale AI model. And as a result, AI became a useful writing tutor and helped many teenager writing. And in recognition of the innovation of our product, we became the first generative AI startup to win CES Innovation Award honoree. Like this, the fact that AI can create creation which does not have clear answer changes definition of human creativity itself. Before generative AI, human creativity always existed in two parts. One was imagination, to think about something that was not in reality and approximate feeling in our head. The other was ability to manifest the image as a material and appearance of reality. However, with the development of generative AI, a world in which manifestation can be replaced by AI in approaching. In the coming future, generative AI will play the role of assistant much more faster and much cheaper. This means that the definition of creativity that human will pursue over next 100 years will change itself. There will be a world where the meaning of human creativity is much more focused on imagination than manifestation. And we can ensure the role of smoothly converting human imagination into machine manifestation is absolutely necessary. As such, we are focusing on technology that overcome the limitation of large-scale AI and accelerate commercialization so that it can be a useful tool to expand human creativity and create better future. Examples include generation technologies using large-scale models, verification technologies to create safe service, and personalization technologies that improve users' desired tone and style, and interaction technologies that fully deliver it to the users. It is expected to generate 1 billion words by every month. This bus amount data is being used to advance the generation result that users want. And written does not stop in writing. Through the launch of image generation models, we are focusing on becoming comprehensive content creation platforms for business. We will continue to do our best as an AI service for human. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for the introduction of your projects. And that was greatly impressive. And I hope written technologies would go much further in the generative AI market.
Thank you for the comment. Okay, now we will move on to question and answer of this session. In this part, we will discuss the project experience, gained insight, and thoughts about participating teams. So, I would like to ask Team Solomon the first question. My first question is, what are the motivation of your project and how did you get idea of it?
네, 소모먼트는 길거리에서 자주 볼 수 있는 담배꽁초에 대한 경각심에서 시작되었습니다. 연세대학교가 한국에서 가장 활성화되어 있는 거리 중 하나인 신촌에 위치해 있어 길거리에 담배꽁초가 굉장히 많고 또 주변에 술집이 많다는 특성 때문에 더욱 이 문제가 심화되고 있습니다. 그 문제를 매일 목격하고 또 공감해온 대학생들이 모여서 소모먼트를 시작하게 되었습니다.
I think that is very common but also very important way to capture the social problems in your daily lives, because in that way you can personally relate to the problem and not just knowing the issue but feeling it, being able to relate it to the problem as a member of society, right?
네, 맞아요. 프로젝트를 구상할 때
That's correct. So when we came up with this project, we didn't want to think of a problem that is far away and vague. That's not going to be important enough for us to come up with a great enough solution. This is often taught, but the social problems that are often found in textbooks and etc., if we were to come up with the projects, if we find that these problems are not resonant with us, that they're not relevant to our everyday lives, then it's very difficult for us to come up with relevant fixes. Basically, I think that it comes down to that level of sympathy or empathy.
So, how about Team Move It? What was the motivation of your project?
Yeah, so in case of Move It, our project started from the personal interests and the needs of resolving the ongoing issues of malnutrition and nutritional imbalance in Madagascar. So to preserve the global environment and to resolve the issues derived from the post-pandemic and climate change, we have felt the necessity of improvement of the food security in Madagascar. So the first was the impact on the global environment. Currently, there are supposed cases of Madagascar citizens hunting lemurs, one of the endangered species, due to malnutrition and hunger in some severe rural areas. The news of this bushmeat hunt, despite its illegality in Madagascar, which is known to have one of the best ecosystems, is fatal news for the preservation of the animal and plant ecosystems that influence greatly the international environmental field. And therefore, we began seeking for alternative protein sources that could replace these lemurs and bushmeat. Second is to contribute and resolve the food material issues in Madagascar. So Madagascar's chronic malnutrition was aggravated further by the effects of global inflation and climate change as of 2022. And while experiencing this chronic problem, nearly 70% of Madagascar citizens are influenced by the global poverty, and half of them suffer from malnutrition. And so to find a solution to this issue, we have decided to carry out a project on alternative food, one of them being edible insects. So our team believes that university students are responsible for global development and the future, and sustainable food consumption is essential, and our generation have the maximum impact on influencing both the adult and young generations. With this sense of duty, I guess our team was devoted to find a realistic solution for this issue.
I think that's very ambitious and interesting project, and I would like to keep updated.
Thank you.
So Team Move It mentioned the importance of university students' role for global engagement and future. And how about the Team Fifth Sense? What are the motivation of the project?
Our team, Fifth Sense, wanted to alleviate educational inequalities experienced by visually impaired children due to our major backgrounds. The team's leader, Yoon, is majoring in social welfare and is interested in the issue of human rights and welfare of the disabled, and especially for disabled children. And other team members who also sympathized with the topic have gathered and made a team together. There is a designer, an architect/engineer, a marketer, etc. Playing and engaging in activities are important in children's education, but there are a lack of books and teaching aids for visually impaired children. The costs are significantly high. With field research, we found out that most of the products are made from one-off or short-term projects or voluntary work, and very few of them are actually usable by visually impaired children. At times, you can see books you can see books with fancy colors and drawings that doesn't give necessary tactile simulation. This is why we wanted to create a brand of products that accurately conveys various experiences to children.
I really am interested in Fifth Sense project, and I think it's really meaningful and important. And I would really want to experience how the kids are actually utilized on site with the children. And I would love to have an opportunity to have time with a kid, with the children. And I think it's really beautiful.
Maybe you could visit next time we plan a session for children.
Okay, that would be really nice. Thank you for the invitation. And I'm also very curious about your team members. How does your team's capabilities support your projects? Like, how do you allocate the roles?
In our case, since we are still a student, we're still a student-based project team. I think we work all together. Helping each other and learning from each other. I know that there are many project teams with years of experience and with huge volume of participants, but we are now starting and we think we are functioning as a kind of a startup organization, and we are enjoying the process, the co-working experience, which are really meaningful for all of us. For the most part, I worked in designing and manufacturing. The kit was first 3D modeled with Rhino and was disassembled to be laser printed on wooden panels. Its size is just enough that children could touch its components with ease. We experimented with combination of different materials to get the texture of the walls and steps. Fixing the straw on the thatched roof and hinges on doors, we studied different adhesives.
Mr. Junho Kim, you're like a protection architecture. Since I've been went through the phase of team project, I can really relate to experience working together like a startup company. You do have your own role, but you kind of have to deal with together 1,000 problems, new challenges, all together as a team.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you for the comment, Mr. Junho Kim. And how about the team solvent? I know that you're a team with a year of experience.
네, 소모먼트는 현재
Yes, in the case
플랫폼
of
서비스,
settlements, we
오시험 설치,
have
소화 방지,
platform
R&D라는
business
성격이 정말
and
다른 세 가지
fire
소모를
distinguishing
운영하고
R&D
있습니다.
and
이에 6개
also
팀들의
BIM. So these
설치가
are
되어
different
있는데요. 플랫폼 개발에는
businesses. We have 6
UI
teams.
디자인 팀, 마케팅
The
팀이
UIX design
공동
team,
시스템을
marketing
설치에는
team, and urban space team, product design team, and R&D team that each of them work on these different business areas. We do have our own execution capability with practical experience. We've recruited people, and they are about 14 currently.
I think it's really amazing how well organized the team is. And could you explain a little bit more about each team?
네. 흡연구역 안내 플랫폼 여기담을 만드는 과업에는 UI UX
So there's UI, UX,
마케팅팀의 애자일하게
development.
구현하였습니다.
The marketing team, they're very agile. And in the first research and development process, the team members all participated very eagerly. They have tried to listen to the voices of the users and try to apply that to the field. And I think that was a secret to our success. And also for the front end and back end developers worked together. And in UI, UX, the researchers work together, and in marketing, the brand managers also work together. They all have their own set of unique expertise for fast execution. In the task for the bins, we looked at the city's image and marketing, so we thought that there need to be a space design team. The design and the design of the product was done by the product design team, and then the R&D team worked on fire extinguishing experts and 2 R&D specialists.
Thank you for the explanation. I would also like to ask, how is it like to be a CEO of a group of like 14 or more than 14 people?
가장 중요하면서도 또 어려운 건
What's very important and very difficult is leadership, because I have this vision and a performance that the team members all have to identify with, and so I'm trying to create the right methodology. I participate in all the teams, not as a CEO, but as a team member. I look at the bin disposal design, or the RX and the R&D and etc. And I try to participate in this to make sure that I can also contribute to the output. And the OKU and PKI, the KPIs were something that we would really focus on, and I tried to persuade the members on the importance of achieving our KPI targets. There are 14 members right now, and going forward, I think that we would have to work with a big organization with a bigger vision.
Okay, thank you for the comment. How about the team Move It? Could you explain how distribute the roles?
Okay, so our project started in June 2022, and to operate a long-term project from planning to execution, we took advantage of the strengths of each team member and allocated the responsibilities accordingly. So Junso is the team member who initiated and concretized the whole idea, also organizing the entire team. And Junso and Jisoo, who will later be introduced, are responsible for the creation of the brochure, which is one of the critical parts of our project. And she also collaborated with Courtney Borgeson for the fact-checking of the brochure contents. Next, Jisoo is in charge of budget management while also supporting the brochure creation. She documented domestic and overseas activities in detail and proposed a budget plan necessary for product production and overseas business trips to ensure that the project proceeds smoothly. And third, Eunso is responsible for the composition and production of the seed kits, another critical part of our project. And she is responsible for the end-to-end production of seed kits from its design to its delivery. And in addition, as a general secretary on site, she was in charge of taking care of records and necessary documents on site, yes. And I myself is in charge of external cooperation and liaison, and I was responsible for searching and recommending appropriate expert candidates to help our project, and also delivered what the team needed through email to the relevant experts. And I also planned and managed activities to be done on site. And with all this effort from each team member, a detailed plan was developed in consideration of its suitability, time, scale, and cost. And the project goal was realized transparently and effectively within a limited budget and time. And so I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every member of our team.
Thank you for the comment. Kind Ms. Jaeyoung Kim expressed her gratitude to her team members. And I can see that how Team Move It optimized your teamwork process based on your backgrounds and capability of each team members. Thank you all the panelists for the detailed answers. The next question is, as a college student, what are the ups and downs to participate in such projects related to social impacts and SDGs? Ms. Lee?
네, 사회에 긍정적인 영향을 줄 수 있는 움직임을 한다는 것, 그 자체로가 큰 동기로 작용합니다. 소모먼트는 제가 20살이었던 21년 9월에 시작을 해서 현재 22살이 된 지금까지 4명으로 시작해서 또 14명을 구성원을 가진 법인으로 성장하였습니다. 솔루션을 개발하고 또 시장에서 검증하며 프로젝트 자금을 확보하는 모든 과정에 밀도 있게 참여했습니다. 그 모든 과정이 쉽지만은 않았지만 내가 지금 사회를 혁신하고 있다는 점,
innovating society and creating actual impact, that we are creating that kind of solution. And this is what allows me to maintain my passion. The product that I'm making, when it's actually being used in the market, is quite memorable. But because this is a social item, there are some difficulties. And also because I have to balance this with my academic life, it's very difficult. So that was an obstacle in scaling up as a natural startup.
I think all the participants would agree to those words. How about Team Fifth Sense? What would be ups and downs while working for social impact projects?
It was very meaningful to experience to meet visually impaired children and see how they participate in the educational activities. It was quite rewarding to see the kid actually work the way it was supposed to. With the play kit, children were able to overcome their reluctance to touching. We encouraged them to talk about the thatched roof house, and we could see that they enjoyed the activity to the last minute. The hard part, it was hard to meet students and parents who were actually willing to meet with us. There was a pandemic, not to mention their communities are small and difficult to access as an outsider. We consulted with various teachers and welfare workers and got to know them one by one. It was hard to gather enough data for statistics. As an unpopular field of education, there were little published researches on the subject too.
I believe it must have been really difficult and challenging because of COVID and the limited data. But I think the experience in like trials and attempts would have made your team much stronger and like more like strengthen the team's competency. How about to move it? So what do you think is the advantages or disadvantages, do you think, as a student conducting this kind of projects?
I think as a student, we were able to actively manage our time in terms of the research because we were able to revise and improve upon our work, ultimately expanding and sustaining it. But on the other hand, as we are students still in university, we had a lot of difficulties juggling with our academic schedules. So in particular, since our research project focused on going abroad, there were a lot of things to prepare for. And so it seemed that we should have been more diligent during the semester. And not to say it always seemed like the main academic dates lapped with the preparation schedule, making it difficult to focus mainly on our academic life.
Thank you, Ms. Sharon Kim. Ms. Sharon Kim mentioned the important point. I also think that what is the most important thing as a student entrepreneur is maintaining a balance between academic work and real-time experience. Thank you again, Ms. Sharon Kim. Well, this time I would like to ask, what are your final goals and visions for your team project? Could you all three panelists give an answer for this question? I will starting with Team Move It.
Okay, so the first goal of our project now is to contribute to improving food security and solving malnutrition in Madagascar. And the long-term goal is to contribute to poverty alleviation by improving awareness on edible insects worldwide and to promote research in areas where edible insects academic research is not yet fully maintained. So in particular, we would like to explore more ways in which various stakeholders, such as NGOs, international organizations, or governments, can collaborate in achieving a shared goal of a sustainable society. And we are very interested in ways to provide meaningful help to the socially underprivileged, such as the poor or the malnourished. And among the SDGs, especially, we are currently most interested in food security issues, sustainable consumption, climate change issues, and partnerships.
We want to make products that will help visually impaired children gain confidence in learning. Different from seeing through our eyes, there are limits to things they can feel with their hands. Our products want to help experience the shape and texture of things that they won't normally get to feel. We also want to provide various tactile simulations so that visually impaired children can learn Braille faster.
Thank you. Ms. Lee?
소먼트의 미션은
Someone's mission is to try to roll out a sound smoking culture so that we can have a mutually cohabitable society. And for that, we are trying to innovate the technologies and the other cultural areas surrounding smoking. We want to establish a sound smoking culture for smokers and non-smokers alike so that we can have coexistence in community. I personally think that this is a way for us to actually realize sustainable development goals. I'm interested in the products that can further that because we have to bring about actual change globally. So I want to do this in the manufacturing and IT level. I believe that we can create a huge impact. So that's why we look at design, manufacturing, and raw materials. SOVMAN's ultimate goal and vision is to try to create a coexisting society. And I'm very much committed to that.
Thank you all for your answers. And I personally would like to root for all of your projects. And it was really, truly nice to have a talk with you today. And I would like to ask, are there any last words you would like to share with the audience, especially maybe college students around the world who would be actively involved in such projects and activities or who are interested? How about we start with Team Sovereign?
I think that we have to make a social impact and also try to create value. To do that, we look at social innovation and SDG, and that is no longer a choice, that is a necessity. When leading SOVMAN, I've worked on design, manufacturing, marketing. I was able to grow. So in trying to create this positive change in society and also further a career, we can engage in social innovation SDGs. I hope that more college students can participate. We can create change.
This could sound obvious, but I think this is really important. When you're thinking about problems that are not your own, you have to be in their shoes. You have to sympathize with them, think of what they need, how they're different from us. I think one of the big reasons social problems continue to exist are because we overlook them by continuing to view them in our own perspective.
Yes, and I hope you will find out how to achieve to 2030 SDGs to the fullest according to your interests and subsequently implement appropriate and realizable ideas. And in addition to sympathy, as mentioned by Team Fifth Sense, I hope college students as a generation between the adult and younger generation can leave a wide impact on both age groups. So I believe it is necessary to inform the adult generation of the worsening of the current situation and the danger of it if there is no action taken, and also accurately inform the younger generation of why they should strive for a sustainable society, showing the current world situation as an example.
Thank you all the panelists today, and also thank you very much for all of the audience offline and online.
Okay, so this will be the end of our session. Thank you all for attending today. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a very meaningful opportunity to hear young voices and their experiences in tackling SDGs. With diverse perspectives. I thank all the students here today that took part in this session. Your works were more than inspiring to me, also motivating as well. I'm sure all the audiences agree with me that they are making incredible efforts to make some real changes in this world. And I hope your such effort will be continued in the future, and looking forward to hear about more achievements in the future. Thank you. And we are now heading to the final session, which will start at 4:30 today. So we'll have a longer break so right now is 43, we're going to have about 45-minute break. But so don't forget to come back for the session. And we'll hear about the decarbonization in Europe and in Korea for our last session. So we'll come back in 45 minutes at 4:30. Thank you.